Good evening, Hotshot. My name is Jonathan Paula. Welcome back to the Movie Night channel. If you missed the last video I posted a couple weeks ago, I'm back. I'm officially posting on YouTube again, so welcome. Nice to see you. It's 2 weeks into the new year, so better late than never. Let's talk about my most anticipated films of 2024. We'll start with January. We'll go month at a time, calling out my most anticipated from each of those months, that if they were in front of me today, which would I be most excited to start right now, right away? I'm pretty much going to watch any movie I mention in this list. I will watch them all eventually. But what am I most excited to see first? Let's pop over to Wikipedia's list of American films of 2024 and take a look. Now, 4 movies have already come out. Mean Girls, Night Swim, Beekeeper, and Book of Clarence. I'm excited to see 3 of those, but I haven't seen any of them yet. Beekeeper, for sure. I've heard it's being compared favorably to Commando, one of my all-time favorite Schwarzenegger campy action classics from the 80s. So Jason Statham, I'm there. I'm not in a rush to see it. I haven't rushed out to the theater, but when it's on video, definitely. Anyway, let's take a look at January. Self-Reliance is a debut feature from director Jake Johnson. His first foray into writing and directing. He's a funny guy. I like him in New Girl. I liked him in Jurassic World. I'm excited to see what he does. And Anna Kendrick and Chris Lloyd, like, what an interesting cast. Not going to run out and see that, though. My most anticipated would actually be Lift, a airplane heist movie starring Kevin Hart, directed by F. Gary Gray. It's already out. I could see this right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait, because I have this weird thing where I like to watch airplane-related movies on airplanes. So much so, in fact, that I made a list about it on Letterboxd called In-Flight Entertainment. And there are 92 movies in this list. I've only seen 58% of which. Great list, by the way. If you're going on a flight anywhere in the next few months and you need some entertainment, I love watching airplane movies on airplanes, especially if it's like a disaster, because then it's a little, kind of puts you in a weird mood, because the people on the plane are going through some turbulent tragedy, and it's like, that could happen to me. It reinstills the fear of flying into any of my frequent flyer friends out there who maybe have gotten blasé about flying 38,000 feet in a metal tube. Watching the pilot of the TV show Lost, yeah, that'll get your blood pumping. Anyway, another movie in January that I'm kind of looking forward to, Role Play, just because Kaylee Cuoco in an action movie, that's kind of interesting. Let's move along to February. My most anticipated feature is the one I'm sure we've all seen trailers for, Argylle. This is the latest from Matthew Vaughn, the guy that brought us The Kingsman, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch. Very talented guy, right? If I hover over his name, you'll get his entire professional history there. Layer Cake, Kick-Ass. Great director, and great cast, right? Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston. This looks great. I'm not sure if it's a campy slapdash comedy or a serious action movie or like this mixture of fantasy and realism, but I'm interested. I actually can't wait for this. Might go out to see it when it comes out on Groundhog Day in a few weeks. Some other movies from this month that also have my interest, Lisa Frankenstein, which is going to be directed, or has been directed, I'm sure the movie's just about finished at this point. Lisa Frankenstein is directed by Zelda Williams, the daughter of the late great comedic talent Robin Williams. And just the fact that we're getting anything from that pedigree fascinates me. I don't know if this particular horror comedy is going to be any good. I kind of like the idea of horror comedy. I like the idea of revisiting classic Universal monster movies with a fresh take. And the fact that it's by Robin's daughter is like, oh, you had my curiosity, now you have my attention. And the last one from this month that I am definitely not Madam Web. I mean, yes, the women in this movie are stunning. Am I excited to see it? No. Will I be there opening weekend? Probably. The other movie that I'm excited to see is Drive Away Dolls. This is by one half of the Coen brothers, Ethan Coen specifically. And I don't know a lot about this, but his name alone is like, okay, yeah, I will probably check this out. Again, probably not going to pay money opening weekend, but I will definitely be interested in seeing that one. Let's skip ahead to March. Number one most anticipated of that month has to be Dune Part 2, if only because we've been blue-balled for 18 months from the last movie. We never got a conclusion. There was no wrap-up. There was no third act. There was no character arcs that had any resolution. So if only because I've had to wait this long, I'm excited to see how Denis Villeneuve finishes up that Dune duology. The first one was fantastic, and you know, the cast and just everything we know about it already has me totally stoked. And if you go over to Letterboxd's most anticipated features of 2024, excluding The Mean Girls, which has already been released, Dune is it. Dune is the number one most anticipated movie for the Letterboxd crowd, and I'm inclined to agree. I can't wait. Spaceman, an Adam Sandler sci-fi drama that comes out on Netflix, that's okay, cool. I'm not like looking forward to it, but it's on Netflix, so I'll probably watch it. Love Lies Bleeding is another movie I have my eye on because it is an A24 romantic thriller, which is a great combination of genres, and Kristen Stewart's in it, and she has been really impressing me with a lot of her choices lately. She's so far removed from the crappy, awkward stuff she did in Twilight, and I think this could be good. I don't know a lot about it, but I certainly am more interested in that than the remake of Roadhouse, which nobody asked for, and a sequel to the remake of Ghostbusters, which nobody asked for. Frozen Empire, I don't care about this at all, I'm sorry. And Godzilla X vs. Kong, another movie that I will watch eventually, but I'm actually a few movies back on that franchise, so I will wait on that. Moving forward to April, Rebel Moon Part 2. Do not care. I cannot tell you how little I care about whatever Zack Snyder's up to. Outside of the Justice League, all of his movies have been very not great. Civil War. I know a lot of people are looking forward to Alex Garland's latest. It presents an alternate view of today's political climate. That scares me more than it entertains me. And honestly, the trailer I saw for it was like, okay, it's different. I mean, a little bit. It's actually strikingly realistic. I don't know if I'm super excited. What I am excited for, my number one most anticipated feature of April, comes out the same day. Challengers, starring Zendaya, Mike Faist, and Josh O'Connor. This is like a love triangle sports rom drama. I don't think we have enough like sexy adult dramas anymore, where like adults are just pining for each other in like a competitive atmosphere. I love that cocktail of genres, and we just haven't got a good one in a long time. I don't know if this will be a good one, but it has my attention certainly. In the month of May, there are a lot of great releases I have my eye on, but my most anticipated comes out right at the beginning of the month, The Fall Guy, which is an action comedy starring Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. The trailers for this have me totally in. Ryan is fantastic. I love this guy. I think he's very good in comedy. And the angle of a stuntman falling in love and getting mixed up into an action caper like that, it's awesome. I think it looks very fun. And I also think it looks like a great date movie, so excited to take my wife to that one. The very next week, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is, I want to say, the 10th entry in the very, very long-running Apes franchise. And I'm so excited to see these finally like come full circle and close the loop on the original 1968 classic with Charlton Heston, where apes are the predominant protagonist and predominant intelligent force on Earth, and then there's one lone astronaut that kind of saunters in. I don't think this movie's going to do that, but if it ends closer to that point where you know, Charlton Heston can walk in at the end of the movie, I would be like, oh my, yes. This looks great. The last three movies, that reboot trilogy, was so good. If is interesting. John Krasinski wrote and direct and produced this one. Ryan Reynolds is in it. I think it's a combination live-action animation hybrid. Could be awesome. It could be crap, but given the people involved, I think it's at least watchable. Strangers Chapter 1, I clicked on this to find out how much I don't want to see it, so I don't want to see it. But another movie I might want to see, Memorial Day weekend, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. I don't know why we need a prequel to this. I'd rather a straight sequel and bring Charlize Theron back. But if we're going to do a prequel, Anna Taylor-Joy seems like a good enough choice to recast her. So that's probably my third or fourth most anticipated for the month. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this, and I loved Fury Road, don't get me wrong, but like the prequel angle has me less than enthused. Garfield comes out then too, and who cares? Chris Pratt, like, why? Stop it. I like Chris Pratt quite a bit, actually, but enough is enough. He is in too many movies. All right, let's bounce ahead to June. On the 7th of that month, Ballerina comes out, which is a spin-off prequel of the John Wick franchise starring Ana de Armas, so I'm in. That's an easy sell. Right after that, the same day, The Watchers by M. Night Shyamalan. And again, if his name's attached, divisive as it is, that's a watch for me. Like, I'm always curious to see what he's going to do next, even if I don't usually always like them. I think more often than not, I don't like them, but I love the swings and the chances he takes. The week after that, on June 14th, we get Inside Out 2, one of my I think my favorite, actually. I think my number one favorite Pixar movie is the first Inside Out. So if it comes close to that level of quality and pathos, I'm in. Can't wait for that. That's my most anticipated of the month. The fourth Bad Boys film opens the same day, at least according to this schedule. Everything is very tentative. And yeah, the first three Bad Boys movies, even the legacy sequel we got right before COVID, that was pretty good too. A Quiet Place Day One, yeah. Again, the first two were great. I'm excited to see more. But another one I definitely want to call out here because it might not have the prestige and the clout or the excitement behind it yet, is the first part of Kevin Costner's Western epic Horizon, an American saga. He's releasing this in two parts over the course of this summer, one movie in June, and we'll look at the next one in August in a few minutes. And the fact that he ruined his marriage, spent 30-something million dollars of his own money, and decades of his life bringing this to the fore tells me that this is a passion project to end all passion projects. And the last time we saw him do this was Dances with Wolves. So for me, you get a blank check, Kevin. You know Westerns. I haven't actually seen Yellowstone. My parents have. They love it. So I don't care. Kevin Costner, you do what you want. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Really excited for this. Despicable Me 4, I don't care, but my kids might, so that's on my radar. Most excited this month for me, of course, would be Deadpool 3. I mean, it's hard not to be excited about the only MCU release of the calendar year, especially since this is bringing an R rating into the MCU for the first time. It's bringing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine in the iconic yellow suit and Ryan Reynolds as the title character. What's not to love? You know, probably a waterfall of cascading references and cameos. It's going to be delightful. It's going to make a ton of money. Is it going to be good? I don't know. I don't know if it really matters. I'm also so excited. I honestly want to put this above Deadpool 3, but that's kind of silly. I'm really excited for Twisters. This is the 25 years later update. I don't know if it's a remake or a proper sequel. I don't think any of the original cast is back from Twisters. But when was the last time we got like a good disaster movie? I think Geostorm like 7 years ago, and that was like okay. So if this is like halfway decent, sign me up. I love 90s disaster movies, and we need more. Get me Deep Impact 2. Where's Armageddon? Where's Dante's Inferno 2? Get me some of those updates, Hollywood. All right, let's move along to August. My most anticipated here is actually Chapter 2 of Horizon from Kevin Costner, because if I'm being honest, I'll probably wait until August and see both of them back to back in the same day. Just do like a marathon 5-hour session. Totally excited for that. Kraven the Hunter, this was actually supposed to come out last October in 2023. It got bumped back all the way to August 30th. I don't know a lot about the property except for what I've seen on my Marvel Snap mobile game, but yeah, I mean, it's a Marvel movie. It's outside of the MCU. This is a Sony property. But hey, it could be whatever. This is where we're going further and further away from the known quantities of Q1, and we're into Qs 3 and 4 now, where Wikipedia and the industry at large is sort of like, these are all just kind of lightly penciled in. A lot of these dates may change. A lot of these movies may move around. Borderlands, right? Another video game adaptation. Could that be good? I don't know. We'll wait and see. And Harold and the Purple Crayon, that is a great book. I've read that to my girls before. Will the movie be any good? I don't know, but I'll probably take them to see it. Let's step ahead to September. The sequel, I don't think anybody asked for, but Michael Keaton's in it, so at the very least, it'll be watchable. Beetlejuice 2 drops on September 6th. I believe that's Labor Day weekend. Transformers 1 is an animated spin-off from the Transformers franchise, which, given the cast, could be great. I mean, look at these names. Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, John Hamm, Lawrence Fishburne. Like, okay, wow. Also, Wolves is an upcoming American psychological action thriller directed by John Watts, who you might know as the director of the latest Spider-Man trilogy. I don't know a lot about these movies. These are so far out. We don't have trailers or any like press photos yet. But given the names involved, like, yeah, those are definitely on my list. And if I had to pick one now of these, admittedly, very light list, I would probably choose Beetlejuice 2 because I'm just kind of curious to see what Keaton can do after so many years away from him. The first one came out in, 1988, right? So, I mean, it's been 36 years. Like, okay, let's see what you got. In October, not a lot of movies on the calendar yet, but Joker Folie à Dieu? How do you say that? Joker Folie à Dieu. You've really got to punch up the French accent. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't love the first Joker. I thought it sort of enabled all of the wrong types of people. But it's a musical now, and Lady Gaga's in it, so like, what? I am curious more than I am interested. But the other movies here, Whitebird, Smile, no, and Terrified, no. Wolfman, is this going to be like the Wolfman, like the Universal Pictures monster Wolfman? It is from Universal and Blumhouse. Like, maybe if that's the case, maybe this is my most anticipated. This October is kind of a toss-up. I guess Joker, because that's sort of the biggest quantity right now. That's the biggest name. In November, another month where we don't know about a lot of potential releases. But what we do know is Venom 3 comes out. I don't really care for the other two, so I'm not excited to see this one. The amateur espionage thriller with a bunch of these names, Rami Malek and Rachel Brosnahan. Like, okay, that could be interesting. I don't know anything about any of these. Alto Nights with Robert De Niro, who I understand is actually going to be playing two different characters. The film stars De Niro in a dual role as 1950s mob bosses Vito and Frank. So two different people who are not brothers or twins. Again, more curious than I am interested. But if I had to pick a movie today, what I'm most interested in seeing, I got to go with another legacy sequel. Gladiator 2 drops on the 22nd. That would be, I believe, Thanksgiving week. And Ridley Scott is back to direct. Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington. I don't think Russell Crowe is in this, which is interesting. I don't know a lot about what they're doing, if they're going a generational sequel or a prequel or what. But the first Gladiator, like, come on. It's one of the all-time greats. Anything they're doing in that world again, I'm excited. In December, we're getting an animated fantasy film in the Lord of the Rings universe, which is interesting. We're getting an animated live-action style prequel to the Lion King reboot from 2019 called Mufasa. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which I really liked, the first two Sonic movies. But the movie I'm most excited for in December comes out on Christmas, and that would be Robert Eggers' take on Nosferatu. This is a vampire story that has survived a full century for a reason. It is still, to this day, very evocative and frightening. And I think Letterboxd agrees with me, because they put Nosferatu in the bronze medal position here. And again, if you take out Mean Girls, which because I'm recording this in the middle of January, the movies that have already come out are naturally more popular than so let's call this the silver. This is in the silver medal spot. Letterboxd agrees with me. Robert Eggers, the guy that brought us The Witch and The Lighthouse and The Northman, doing his take on Count Orlok. Like, oh my gosh, that could be incredible. That could be frightening. That could be unnerving. Top 3 movies of the year. You've seen me pick out one from each month. Number 3 would be, let's go with Deadpool 3 in the bronze medal spot. I'm really looking forward to that. I love the MCU. I got the Cap Shield and the Endgame poster over here. I love that franchise. Phase 5 and 6 have certainly been a downturn, but I'm still mostly enjoying my time. Second most anticipated movie of the entire year would be Horizon Part 2, the Kevin Costner movie. That's kind of a pick for both installments, but Part 2, let's call it that. And my number one most anticipated movie of the entire year would be Dune. I just can't wait to see this story wrapped up. I mean, I've been waiting a year and a half to see what happens to Timmy Chalamet and Zendaya with the blue eyes and Arrakis and Paul Atreides. Like, the whole... I loved the retelling of that story. The David Lynch movie is weird, but I still kind of dug it. And Denis Villeneuve's take on it was like, oh, shoot, this is that same weirdness, but in a way that's palatable and looks good. And 2 more movies I want to bring your attention to that weren't on this list because they're undated. The first of which is the directorial debut of 68-year-old comedian Jerry Seinfeld. The first movie he's ever directed, which is crazy. And this is a real thing. He's really doing, I kid you not, Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story. Kellogg's and post-consumer brands compete to see if they can produce a breakfast pastries before the other in 1963 Michigan. What? Another one of those product biopics we got so many of last year. We're getting another one from Pop-Tarts. But look at this cast. This Melissa McCarthy, Jerry Seinfeld, Jim Gaffigan, Amy Schumer, Hugh Grant, James Marsden, Jack McBrayer, Tom Lennon, Bobby Moynihan, Max Greenfield, Christian Slater. This is a murderer's row of comics. And the fact that it's about my favorite breakfast pastry, I am legitimately psyched for this. This could be awesome or terrible. And the other one, of course, we've probably already seen. The trailer for this one is the upcoming 4th installment in the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, Axel F. This is currently undated. I think it'll come out around May or June of this year on Netflix. When Eddie Murphy tries, he can be great. Lately, he hasn't been. But for this character, I think he might bring the goods. And the fact that we're getting Judge Reinhold back and John Ashton, who somehow is still alive. I thought for sure this guy would be dead. He's actually only in his mid-70s. Somehow. I don't understand. This man looked like he was 50, 40 years ago, but he was younger than I was in the first Beverly Hills Cop movie. So it's been 40 years since the first one, 30 since the last one. Yeah, I'm excited, Eddie. Let's see what you got. So those are my picks for most anticipated movies of 2024. A big reason why I wanted to show you them on Wikipedia is because I feel like going back to this video a year from now is going to uncover a trove of interesting insight, because so many of these dates and names might invariably change by the end of the year. But of the ones we know so far today, these are the ones I'm most excited for. I'm sure that if we come back a year from now, my top 10 movies are not going to be exclusively from this list, because there's going to be releases and Oscar movies that come out late in the fall that we don't even know about yet, right? One of my favorite movies from 2023 was The Holdovers, and I didn't know about that till like the day after it came out. It certainly was not on my anticipated list a year ago. So I'm actually most excited, I think, about the surprises and the movies we don't know about. But of the ones we do, those were my picks. Let me know what some of your most anticipated are in the comments below. But until next time, thank you so very much for hanging out with me. My name is Jonathan, and I hope to see you next time.